Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow. In today's episode, we're going to get back into a new decade. Okay, so I already did the top 30 OAVAs, TV shows, and movies for the 1980s. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the 1990s. Okay, so I'll start from 1990 and work all the way up to 1999 and go through each and all these significant titles from every single year and then build a big top 30 countdown. So again, this is going to take me a while. It took me almost 14 episodes to do it for 1980, and this one probably will be a lot longer because there's now the new generation. Like my generation, started in the 80s, and of course we had to suffer through a lot of things. Like no translations and very hard distribution, with the VHS tapes and all that stuff. But now in the 1990s, the anime companies started kicking in. So now there's basically a source that a lot of people can get certain types of animes and that kind of stuff. Big boom in the new OAVAs and animes and movies that sort of came out. So a lot more titles we can deal with. So, it's going to be a little bit harder than the 80s just because of the sheer volume. But again, we'll go through it all and I'll make this list of the top 30 titles for you. Okay, so before we begin, I want to remind everyone to go down below and click like and click subscribe. We know that any sort of comment that you can make will help the YouTube algorithm promote it and make it available to more people. All right, so anything that you do will be great. That's a I don't ask for much, but again, if you could at least do that, then it will definitely help the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. And for those who like to support me financially, I do also have the super thanks button down below, as well as the links for the PayPal and the Patreon. Now, I've been building a lot to the Patreon recently. I've now put a lot of resources available to you people, as well as a lot of the content that is for the subscribers that I cannot put on YouTube because there's now a lot of topics that I'm now covering which are not allowed to be put on the YouTube. So all those things are now available to the members there. As well as I've also now put the my audiobooks available as in audio form and on video form as well. Those are also partially free to the Patreon members, so do check that out. Okay, and so for all the other new users that are on this channel, I've also compiled all the episodes of the History of Fan Anime into a large database sheet. And if you like to basically look at different episodes that are pertaining to certain topics, like maybe CDs or maybe art books or maybe the fan culture itself, like conventions and that kind of stuff, they're all put together in a book-like fashion and they're put into the spreadsheet. Again, the link is below, as well as other resources like the database sheets for the MyAnimeList of the 1980s, and of course the top 30 animes of the 1980s is also all available in spreadsheet form there. Link is below. I also want to mention that I've done some revamping recently of my own website. I've used AI to basically help rewrite and update and make the website easy for me to put the changes to it now. So I've done half the upgrades and that kind of stuff here. So I've started to put that up. One of the most important sections, or the newest sections that I've wanted to always revamp, was the old FAQ section. Back in the days of things like the GameFAQs.com and whatnot. They used to post up how to work at certain games and how to do different progress in different games. So again, I've had done that and put up some of the things that I've done and whatnot for that. So I've done the things that when I was doing playing Ascension, Dare Live Beach Volleyball, Lane Greaser, and Pokemon Go, all that stuff I've also put on there. I've also put all the various different tips and sort of DIY stuff for things. When I went to basically build my own drum stand, how to do mods to the Alexi's drum set, bar and that kind of stuff. I also have done things like when I bought my Korg guitar, how to do maintenance and different modifications of that. So again, if you want to have a quick look at that and see all the various different little things and more, basically know more about you, do check it out I will do more updates and that kind of stuff, as I'm going to try to transport the database and that kind of stuff of all the episodes and that kind of stuff onto this website as soon as I can figure out how to actually get the code for that. So again, do take some time to check that out.
Okay, so we're gonna do the summer season, so that's season 3 of 1993. And again, so we'll just start right away with the new TV shows. And there's only one, and it's really insignificant. Some Korean show called Bosa Dui Kori. Okay, again, people know that you don't release stuff in summer because obviously there's just new stuff that came out in spring, but also the fall season is where all the action is. And when you look at all the new shows that are like, or sure, new shows, but like the old shows that are already sort of on there, you got a hell of a lineup to go against. So even this show here was only like 13 episodes, but it was a throwaway because you knew that it wasn't going to succeed anyway. Because when you look at the shows that are on, you've got still Dragon Ball Z still going. We have big shows like Yu Yu Hakusho, the run up for the Sailor Moon series. Sailor Moon R is on. Sunrise has got their key Gundam going right now, which is V Gundam, Victory Gundam. We also have the TV series like GS Ghost GS Mikami or Ghost Sweeper Mikami, which was a really good favorite fan sub thing. I know Daisuke and we at our Arctic Animation were really heavily going in with Himi-chan's Ribbon and Miracle Girls, and they are still running right now. So those are really big popular things, and of course even in the Japanese market itself, Crayon Shin-chan was a really big popular thing, right? So again, lots of big TV shows going on and still continuing. So again, you don't want to put the featured shows on now, like start premiering them now, because that they're just gonna fail against this kind of lineup. I mean, you know, there's so many good shows to sit there and watch at this particular time. You don't want to add more to the mix. You might want to save it until some of these shows start ending, like Yu Yu Hakusho and Sailor Moon R, GS Mikami. Those are shorter series, so they'll end a little bit earlier. Himi-chan's Ribbon and Miracles are a little bit longer, but you might want to wait until those seasons end before presenting new shows. Okay, so we continue on with the OEVAs now. So these are the new OEVAs for this season. And right off the bat, we have Oh My Goddess. So this is the continuation of that series. Now, it's a five episode OEVA set. And a lot of people really like this one because this is sort of one of the very first sort of the main character, the guy, gets the girl sort of thing, and produces the mini harem type of sort of things. I mean, it should have probably the absolute first one, but in the lineage of these sorts of things, a lot of people pick this one as the first one, and one of the nicest sort of OVAs for this one. So I think a lot of people like this to begin with, and again, Annie go picked this up really early, and it really did well for them. The next one on the list is the Dragon Ball Z OVA. So this is the Kill of the Saiyans one. Now, when I watched this one, it wasn't one of the ones that was commercially released, and I can see the reason why is it really felt like they took like a story arc, right? Like this would be really a story, the Dr. Raichi, shall we say, story arc type of thing, right? And it's a side story, of course, and this is probably good enough to be like 40 episodes long, like the whole entire, the learning of them, and then they have to go and talk to Kaiji to find out what the guy's about, and maybe the entire trip to the Dark Planet, and the combats at the beginning, and then they meet the Doctor, and then the big conflict at the end. I mean, this really should have taken like 20 episodes and even 40 episodes to flesh out, but it felt like it's like bang, then bang. They're at the planet. All of a sudden, they decide, okay, we got to go to the Dark Planet. Okay, boom, they were there. Boom, we land on the planet. Boom, Goku defeats the first guy, and all of a sudden, oh, they find everybody else, and then now they're at the Doctor, and it's like, okay, it's like it really just like boom, 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 boom happens, and it's only two 30-minute episodes in this OVA set. So it's like just zooming through the story. So good concept. Maybe they were planning to make something good or something. Like a bigger, longer movie, maybe. But anyway, just a side story if you're interested in that kind of thing. I think it was just one of these stories that failed to be fleshed out properly. And the third one on the list is a giant robo. Okay, so again, more in this series of the basically kid controlling the giant robot thing. Okay, or kids and the giant robot thing, and they keep doing this a lot. Right? I mean, at this time, it's still a lot of carryover from shows like Giant Robo, Giant Gorg, and all these, and all those sort of things like Zabungle and those other things, where basically it's the, conflict with the kids and the giant robot. Okay, this is just more of that. The animation is nice on this actually. I mean, compared to other shows like like YFAM and Zabungle and nothing like that. The artwork is really really good, and definitely something worth checking out. Okay, so we continue on with the next one, which is the Tenchi Muyo Yoki special. So again, after the first 7 OVAs, they thought maybe we can tack on another one. So this is basically more adventures of Tenchi and the Battle of Aika and Yoko after his affection. Again, the epitome of another one of these harem animes. Of course, they already had like Amagoddess and that kind of stuff, but this is like another one of these key sort of, multiple girls and the guys sort of, animes, and this is where I think the transition between, the giant robot type shows and that kind of stuff. And whatnot into other genres, and of course this is I think the beginning of the quote harem anime sort of things going on here. Okay, the next one is Usher and Totora. Again, ADV picked this one up relatively early, and again, nice, sort of action. I mean, I didn't really like the way that the characters are drawn so much, but I mean, it was still a pretty good story, and it was, it really kept up your interest because, because the story is fairly quick moving, right? So, and that was really really good for this one. And the last one on this line is a Kashan, the robot hunter. Now this is another thing, that Tatsunoko type of shows, right? And you know, it really has the flavor of like Gatchaman, right? I mean, even the costumes and the way the moves and everything of this, it's just basically, you know, let's just take the female gotcha, the gotcha man, girl there, and let's just make a story about her, kind of thing, right? That's essentially what it is. They really did spiff up the artwork, guys. I do, I do like the female character designs and this stuff on this one here, and so it's a pretty cool show for that. So again, if you're interested in that sort of, that flavor, that kind of show, yeah, definitely. This is sort of like the one female lead, sort of gotcha man team. I guess you can say it's the same way that things like a Scubandaka or something like that, or all those idol live action sort of female idol shows is kind of based like that, but in an anime. Okay, so we continue on to the next line. We have another Rumiko Takahashi OVA. This is Rumic World 5, or what they refer to as Mermaid Scar. So, in the first series of the Rumiko Takahashi series, she made one called Mermaid's Forest, right? The concept of, if you eat the flesh of a mermaid, then that gives you like eternal life and that kind of stuff, right? So this is the sequel to that, so that you actually have more episodes of that particular thing. Again, nice, that nice sort of Rumiko Takahashi style that you're used to in things like Urusetsu and like Mizunakaku. now you got more of that kind of thing. Okay. The next one is Eight Man After. So the original had they had a series called Eight Man, right? So the classic series, and now of course they've done the RoboCop thing, and because the guy got whatever, and now they have to bring him back, right? So in order to make a sequel, you gotta kind of rebuild him again and make a new Eight Man, and here's the story of the new Eight Man. Okay, so short enough it is. It's like 4 episodes, so and updated animation and that kind of stuff. So it's all good for that. Okay. And then the last one is A-Girl. No one knows what this is. It was one of those kind of unknown animes. Really received no advertising. So really no one knows what it is. And of course it was never really distributed. Okay, on the next time we have Hummingbird. So this is a kind of a strange one where basically the air forces are run by private companies, and so one company decided, oh, okay, well, we're going to make a squadron of idol singers. Okay, so kind of a female like Top Gun, but they're all like idol singers, and they're trying to make an idol band, but yet they're still pilots, right? Again, they put this together because the concept of making like seiyuu bands, for example, the Goddess Club and Doko from Ranma, they realized that you can get a bunch of VAs together, stick them all together, make them sing some songs or whatever, and you can sell music as seiyuu bands, right? And sure, I mean back in the concept of like back in Samurai Troopers when like the Energy 5 guys did it, they were really popular with the girls. And now, so maybe hey, won't we make some female idol bands, and then maybe that will gather some guy attention or something like that. So that's that sort of thing. And some of the Hummingbird songs are pretty good. So that is definitely worth checking out. At least musically speaking. Anyway. The next one behind that is Suikoden, the Demon Sentry. Okay, so ADV licensed this one under the Demon Sentry, and again, it has a really kind of misleading title. The fact that it uses Suikoden, and although it's not related to the video game, okay, at all, but the if you look at the credits. Konami does make the Suikoden game, and they also co-produced this OVA. So it is supposedly related. I mean, they're both sort of based on off of like light novels. It's supposed to be this Chinese light novel about like the water the story type of thing, right? Chronicles. So in that respect, it's kind of the same, but obviously the timelines of it, because like this is more modern day, like demons and that kind of stuff, and that kind of realm thing. Where of course Scoring is the standard sort of medieval, sort of RPG kind of like game across many different platforms. So I get it if you got confused with how, because I would have probably got confused as well. But yeah, there's no relation except for the company who makes it. Okay, because Konami is in both, right? Again, one shot OVA, quick checkout. It was one of those 80 Vision one shot wonders. And the last one is Bad Boys. Again, this is like the early, an OVA about the early history of like things like Great Teacher Onizuka kind of thing, right? No one knows what it is. It's kind of rough animation at that particular time, and so again, no distribution. No one knows what it is. Okay, now next line we have the movie Big Wars. Okay, so this one is licensed by Central Park Media, and it's another one of these. We've terraformed Mars, and the aliens come to attack us and try to destroy us and that kind of stuff. So really, not really much different than, let's say, Mospeada, Macross, Southern Cross, okay, like, Orgus, these type of things are, it's the same kind of concept, our fight against the aliens that attack us. Very short, I think it's like two OVAs on that, so it's not that long. The artwork's okay. It's not really, it's not, I mean, me visually appealing. The female characters are drawn reasonably well, but I think they could have done better. They tried to make the story a little bit, tried to make it a little bit edgy, but they didn't. Good action though. I think if they fleshed out the story a little bit better, would have been better. But I mean, definitely good combat stuff and whatnot, and reasonable artwork. So it's not a total waste. But yeah, I think there's better stuff out there. That's for sure. The next one is Crimson Wolf. So this is another one of these, it has to fight against the supernatural type of things. I mean, they're getting a lot of these kind of, these type of shows. When there's it's like things like Dagger Kamui or, Yotoden or whatever. Like, this is more of that kind of thing. Again, one shotter. I think Central War Media also licensed this one as a last ditch effort because it wasn't that worth it. That's for sure. And the last one is Gawk Saver. Now this one, I actually bought the laserdiscs for this OVA set. 6 episodes on the OVA set, and I bought the laserdiscs for it. And I had the intention of doing the fan sub for it, but I never got around to it, and I basically left it, and I figured, okay, well, I'll let somebody else do it, and that. But it never did get licensed, actually. So, and I thought it had a really good potential to do so, but it never did. It's your basically giant robot show with a bunch of kids that that kind of find out and get into the thing. So the very, very, very Gundam beginning type of story type of thing to it. Except of course it's multiple kids need to control this stupid thing. So it's the Power Rangers kind of concept, right, as well. But of course they're all school kids, and they have to basically fight the aliens that come to basically retrieve the robot. So very, very Macross like story to it, right? Artwork's really good. Female character design looks really good, and even some really, really big names are there. Megumi Hashabara does one of the main characters, and Ira Krasa also does. She does the voice of Yoko from Tenchi Muyo. Again, she's in here, and they both participate in doing the ending theme song, right? So again, kind of cashing in on the female seiyuu band type of stuff. But as I said, very big names in this show, and it never got licensed. So definitely something to check out if you're into that kind of that show. But that's it. Maybe if no one ever gets around to it, then maybe I'll take these episodes and I'll throw them to AI and get something done for them. Okay, so those are the main OVAs that came out for this season. There's a couple more at the bottom of the list that really nobody knows about and just sort of fell to obscurity. There's Akumon, which is based on an old legend story of a fox hunter, and the foxes send a person to impose as as his girlfriend sort of thing. So kind of a that's the thing. Again, one shot. No one knows what it is. The next one is Kiswa Hitomi ni Shite, high school love story based off of manga. The standard Prince Charming story, and then the student shows up as the character in the dream sort of thing. So that's again, quick one shotter. The next one is Uido no Naruminai. This one is a sort of a medieval Japanese red light district girl conflict there. This seemed really actually interesting, but again, what can you do in 30 minutes, right? And they only made one episode. So a lot of these things, could have concepts, but with only just having the one episode, it makes it really difficult to do anything with it, right? And the next one here we have the last ones we have here are Mellow. Now this is really kind of a bizarre one. This is literally like Great Teacher Onizuka, except the teacher is like this cross dresser. So again, that no one knows what the hell that is, and so yeah. And the next one after that one is Niwa Kinyu de Minami no Tirio. This one is basically the king of like money or something like that. Okay. Again, this is a guy who's like you know uh, I wouldn't say a card shark, but like a loan shark, right? And it's supposed to be like this really this king of the business district sort of guy because he's so good at what he does, right? So um, you know again, because of the low sort of advertising and that kind of stuff that a lot of these things do, even though the animation is probably good, like just no one knows what it is, and it's just that no one really distributed it. And the last one is the Niwa Yokuden. That's another of these muscle men wrestling type of animes that again nobody knows about. And again, even in like for even the wrestling animes and that kind of stuff and whatnot. Most people just didn't care about this thing, and I've seen the odd occasional muscle man sort of video out here and there back in the time, but for the most part, no one really wanted to collect it, and no one really, well, especially no one, fan subbed them or anything like that. So it really made anyone who was maybe sort of interested in it really, hesitant to get into these things. So again, um, anyway, that will finish off the OVAs. We'll go on to the movie. Okay, now we go in with the movies, and we got some pretty good blockbuster movies, over the summer here. First of all, we begin off with with the big one here, Dragon Ball, the ninth movie, and of course that got released over here as BoJack Unbound, which was really popular because again, Dragon Ball Z's going on in the TV series, continuing, so that the people who are watching it on TV all of a sudden not going to go to the movie theaters and see the movie there, right? The other really big one, of course, is Yu Yu Hakusho, which is again another series that's running on TV right now, and they're using that to push off the movie release of it, right? So helps draw the people into the movie theaters because there's a current TV series going, right? So yeah, so very big summer hits for that. The other one in the middle there is Pat Labor 2, the movie. So again, a long waited after the Pat Labor 1 movie was really well done. They released a second one. Same stunning sort of visual effects. The music was really good on this one, and a little more action. Okay, so it's not as mind story like the first one, but definitely a good action story and the same characters and that kind of stuff that you're so used to the comedy that you get with like Commander Goto and stuff like that is all in this movie. So it's for those people who were waiting for more Pat Labor since the TV shows is now over, OVAs are over, and the movie from last year was is done. So they decided to make another one, and it was really well done. Okay, so we continue on with the next set of movies. We have the release of the Crayon Shin-chan first movie. Again, more continuation for the TV series. Again, people like that series. That's great. Now that they got a movie they can watch. But over here, no one really followed Crayon Shin-chan. Same thing with Doctor Slump. The seventh movie for Doctor Slump's come out. Again, no one really had any interest in Doctor Slump at this particular time, even though it was the guy who does Dragon Ball. But because no one bothered translating it, and because it's vastly different than Dragon Ball, just nobody followed it, right? So again, great for those people who did follow Doctor Slump, but for us in North America, no one cared. The one in the middle is one got released here as Rail of a Star. Another kind of sort of post World War II, kids story, kids in that post time. Not really so much different than things like Barefoot Gen or Grave of the Fireflies or that kind of a show. It's a nice piece. Animation is really nice. I mean, you'd think it's like Studio Ghibli type of stuff, but it's not. But it is that sort of show. nice overall movie. It's a solid good watch. Again, you may not like the theme or the character design or whatever like that stuff, but for a complete sort of movie sort of feature, it's a good watch. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're just gonna breeze through the last couple ones here. That Okay, so we're just gonna breeze over the last couple ones here. So we got the Ryoko Denshi Blues. Okay, so this is the sequel to the initial Denshi Blues. Again, just Shonen Gang things or whatever. Um, if you follow the manga, that's great. But again, no one released it over here. No one knew what it was, so they just left it at that. Next one is Chumon no Oi Roy Toiden. Now this is another one of these sort of almost like a fable type story. So basically, some hunters go and find this place in the woods, and this just some craziness happens there. So again, one shot, 20 minutes. You can't really do anything with it. One shot, kind of ignore it, sort of thing. And the next one after that is Tomoko no Boken. This is sort of like Tomoko's adventure sort of thing. Kind of a sort of a post World War II type of thing. Sort of a girl's adventure story. Again, one shot, about 30 minutes. Who cares? And the last one is Kaitsu Zetsurai. Okay, so again, more the fox being a prancer type of thing, and that kind of strange kind of story as it were. A little bit, it's supposed to be funny, but again, nobody knows what it is, and again, one shot kind of thing, and pretty forgettable, pretty unknown. Again, no translations, no nothing. So that basically does it for the movies. Okay, so now we go on to the TV specials or the special releases. Okay, and then the most anticipated one on the front of the list here is the Golden Sets 2. So that's Fatal Fury, the second OAVA, and this was really unique because I really like Obari's artwork. He does a lot of things with like Kaiser, and of course Fatal Fury, and a lot of people who play like arcade games and that kind of stuff. King of Fighters and Fatal Fury were really big arcade favorites at this time. King of Fighters '95 at this time was really that entire series of King of Fighters games were really on the rise, right? Both in the arcade and on the home consoles like the Neo Geo and of course the Super Nintendo at that time, right? Really big. So and everyone always liked the live action commercials that came with this one, and this one was the one with the Haku Mega Shock Neo Geo commercials, and basically it was really funny watching the live action people that they got to play, Terry, Andy, and Joe, and how they're meeting up with Krauser and whatnot. So it's just really funny watching those Hacky Mega Shock commercials. The next one, of course, is Lupin the Third, and this is the again a special release OVA for Lupin. Okay, in English, they called this Lupin the Third, A Voyage to Danger. Okay, so again, it's sort of the assassination attempt that was made out on Lupin. So another sort of a good one-shot sort of OVA. Part of a larger set, just like things like Babylon and Mamo and things like that. It's all really really self-contained and a good watch in one sort of sitting. It's really good. The next one is Hiroshima ni Ichiban, and it's basically again like the other sort of everyone seems to be making Hiroshima sort of OVAs in anime recently, but yeah, so a streetcar going through the devastation in Hiroshima. Okay, continuing along, we have just two more ones. The a Korean Shinchan special, so it's just a whole bunch of specials that they did just to add on more to the Korean Shinchan series. Okay. And the last one is Mikan Iki. This is sort of like the the happy cat, I guess. um, it's a whole bunch of the episode that was stuck on the end of like uh, you know, kind of stuck on the end of the VHS tape or the DVD of just you know randomness, I guess you would say. It still seems that like for example, on the end of Gunbusters, they had those short little clippets where they're trying to explain stuff or add extra notes using characters from the show and whatnot, or in this case, in the case of Gunbusters, they used SD characters to do all the explanation and commenting. But they counted that as an episode, so this is the same kind of thing. All right, so that finishes off 1993, and this is your summer section. So we'll continue more in the next episode.
All right, hope you found that really interesting. And again, we'll be getting into more episodes as we go through the whole entire decade of the 1990s. All right, so until next time, I will see you again.